Okay, let's dive in. Ever feel like you say something important in a work chat and it just
Oh,
vanishes?
definitely. Like shouting into the void sometimes.
Right. Well, imagine that on a massive scale, there's this report out, and it suggests as businesses are losing something like 70% of valuable info from their conversations.
70%. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a huge amount of lost knowledge, missed opportunities right there.
exactly. Think about the business side, but also, as a customer, feeling like they didn't quite catch what you needed, it feels like a big
It
miss.
really does. 70%. It just screams inefficiency, doesn't it? Makes you wonder what gets lost.
Huh.
Customer needs, potential sales, just gone.
Precisely. And that's what we're digging into today. We've got this report commissioned by Rocket Phone. They do conversation processing, integrated with Salesforce.
Ah, okay, so they're in that space.
Yeah. They surveyed 1,000 UK consumers and 500 sales managers. And the findings, they really shine a light on why all this info is slipping through the cracks.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive then is basically to figure out why so much gets lost, what the knock-on effects are for businesses and customers,
Right.
and importantly, what the report suggests might, help fix it. Exploring the solutions too.
Absolutely. We'll look at the data, the pain points from the sales side, the frustrations from customers. Let's start with something that really stood out to me. How sales teams actually spend their time.
Okay, because you'd think they're selling, mostly.
You'd think, but the report says they spend a massive 56% of their day on admin tasks.
56%.
Yeah.
Seriously, not selling.
Nope. That's over half their day. It averages out to 4.22 hours every single day, just on admin, paperwork, data entry, that sort of thing.
Wow, 4 hours a day. That's
Yeah.
that's an incredible amount of time not spent on their main job. What does that look like in financial terms for a business?
It's pretty hefty. The report crunched the numbers based on average UK sales salaries.
Yeah.
Businesses are basically paying each agent over £14,000 a year, 14,264 to be exact,
Just for admin.
just for admin work. So you're paying nearly half their salary for them not to be selling. Think what they could do with that time back.
That's a huge chunk of resource just drained away.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet that links to another finding you mentioned, something about manager satisfaction.
It likely does, yeah. Less than 20% of sales managers are actually completely satisfied with their team's customer service. It's got to be hard to deliver great service when you're drowning in admin.
Makes sense. You're just trying to keep your head above water with paperwork.
Totally. And when they asked managers about their biggest challenges, the top three were too much admin, an ineffective tech stack, their software tools, and poor access to customer conversation data.
Ah, so it's all connected. The admin, the tools, not helping, not being able to easily see what was said before. A perfect storm,
Yeah,
almost.
pretty much. It's this trifecta holding them back from focusing on the customer.
Yeah, the very things meant to help them are actually getting in the way.
Yeah.
And this isn't just an internal headache, right? This hits the bottom line.
Oh, absolutely. And this is where it gets, well, quite stark. The report found UK businesses are losing 6% of their annual revenue
6%, just from inefficient tech.
directly because of inefficient tech.
Okay, 6% sounds like a lot. Can we put a number on that? Across the UK.
Get ready for this. It's estimated at about 127 million lost every year.
Wow, 127 million. That's staggering.
In the report, it's clear that 6%, that's seen as conservative. It doesn't even factor in things like damage to reputation, losing customer trust, the stuff that's harder to measure but potentially even more damaging long term.
Exactly. Those intangibles can cripple a business over time. And didn't the report also mention something about sales forecasting being off?
Yes, good point. And that ties right back to this inefficiency. Over half, 55% of sales managers admitted they question how accurate their team's forecasts are.
55%. So
Okay.
more than half don't fully trust their own team's predictions.
Right. It mainly comes down to relying on delayed manual data input. The agent has a call, maybe makes notes later, maybe updates the system a day or two after. How accurate is that info by then?
Not very, I'd imagine. It creates this huge potential for error. And bad forecasts, well, they mess everything up, don't they?
Totally. Leads to getting staffing wrong, maybe ordering too much stock or not enough, missing targets. It just creates chaos downstream.
A real ripple effect.
Yeah.
And it's not just the business numbers suffering, is it? There's a human cost here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. The report found sales professionals take, on average, 4 days off per year specifically due to stress.
4 days, just stress-related. How does that compare to, say, regular sick days?
It's higher. The average for short-term illness is about 3.2 days. So the job stress, likely made worse by all this admin and pressure, is genuinely impacting well-being.
That difference really tells a story, and there's a cost to that stress leave too, I assume.
Yep, estimated at about 397 hours lost per employee per year just from that stress-related absence. Multiply that across a whole team.
It adds up fast. Another hidden cost of the inefficiency.
And something else quite worrying, 77% of sales reps reported experiencing verbal abuse from customers.
77%. That's incredibly high. Why? What's driving that?
Often it seems to stem from unresolved customer issues. If the rep doesn't have the right info or context from past conversations, they can't solve the problem, the customer gets angry.
And the rep bears the brunt. It's a horrible cycle. Poor internal systems lead to bad customer experiences, which leads to abuse towards staff.
Exactly. Which brings us neatly to the customer perspective. How does all this feel from their side? The report has some pretty eye-opening stats there, too.
I can only imagine. If reps are struggling and stressed, it must show.
It definitely seems to. Get this. 92% of UK consumers said they're left dissatisfied after sales calls.
92%. Wow, that's almost everyone. That's a huge problem. Why such high dissatisfaction?
Well, one huge reason jumps out. Half 50% of consumers said they've been spoken to by reps using the wrong information about them.
50%. Addressed with incorrect info. No wonder they're unhappy. That immediately breaks trust, doesn't it?
Completely. Sets the whole call off on the wrong foot, and maybe explains why 38% of consumers admit they've actually complained about phone sales service.
Yeah, if you're getting wrong info or feel unheard, you're going to complain. Makes perfect sense.
And people are impatient too. 27% said they're ready to just hang up if put on hold. They want efficiency.
Reflects society generally, I think. We want things fast, easy, no time for waiting.
True. And maybe linked to that frustration, 39% admitted they've actually lost their temper with a sales rep.
Nearly 40% losing their temper. That shows these aren't just slightly annoying calls. They're genuinely creating negative emotional experiences for people.
Yeah. And there's another layer too, a sort of ethical concern emerging. 37% of consumers worry about how vulnerable family members might be treated on sales calls.
That's a really important point. Are businesses equipped to handle interactions sensitively? Do they have the right info to know if someone needs maybe a different approach?
Exactly. It raises questions about whether companies really know their customers well enough to interact appropriately, especially those who might be more vulnerable.
That's a heavy responsibility. So,
Yeah.
okay, we've got this picture. Inefficiency, lost money, stressed staff, unhappy customers. It's quite bleak. What's the way out? Did the report offer solutions? Talk about tech, AI.
It did. And interestingly, while most sales managers, 56%, said they were kind of okay with their current tech.
Oh, so they don't see tech as the problem.
Well, yes and no. They're content-ish, but they also see room for things to work better, especially getting their CRM, the main customer system, better integrated with other tools and making it more cost-effective. It's not about more tech necessarily, but smarter, better connected tech.
Okay, that makes sense. Not just piling on more software, but making what you have actually work together seamlessly.
Yeah.
Less complexity, more integration.
Precisely. And this is where AI comes into the conversation. A good chunk of sales managers, 38%, see AI as a must-have now.
38% calling it a must-have. That's a strong signal. They see real potential there. How specifically does the report suggest AI can help?
A few key ways. Automating those admin tasks is a big one. Taking data entry, follow-ups, that kind of stuff off the salesperson's plate.
Okay, freeing up that 4.22 hours a day we talked about earlier, that alone would be huge.
Huge. But maybe even bigger is AI's ability to capture crucial data during the actual conversation.
So not relying on manual notes after the fact.
Exactly. AI can transcribe, analyze the call basically in real time, pulling out key topics, sentiment, action items, things a busy human might miss or forget.
That sounds like the game changer. Turning those raw conversations at 70% that was getting lost into actual usable intelligence.
You got it. And the report looks ahead a bit, too, at how AI might change the sales role itself.
Oh, how so?
It pictures salespeople leaning more on AI co-pilots for the admin grind.
Okay, like a digital assistant handling the boring bits.
Yeah, freeing them up to focus on the human stuff, building relationships, understanding complex needs, really selling effectively.
That could really shift the focus of the job, boost productivity, and maybe make it more satisfying work.
Potentially, yeah. But the report also flags something interesting about trust.
Trust in the age of AI.
Right. As buyers get savvier about AI-generated emails or chatbots, that genuine human connection, that authenticity becomes even more valuable. It becomes a key differentiator.
That's a great point. AI handles the process, humans build the trust. It's a partnership almost.
Seems like it. And the report even hints AI's efficiency gains might, down the line, impact team sizes, maybe needing fewer people to achieve the same or better results.
That's always the double-edged sword with automation, isn't it? Efficiency versus headcount.
It is. But the main thrust, the core benefit highlighted, is unlocking what the report calls sales intelligence.
Sales intelligence, meaning,
Meaning using AI to really understand the conversation, customer feelings, their real problems, the signals they give off when they're ready to buy.
okay, getting beyond just the words to the meaning and intent.
Exactly. And using that insight to tailor the experience, solve problems better, and ultimately drive sustainable growth because you actually understand your customers. Moving from just recording calls to really listening to them with AI's help.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about extracting the value that's currently being lost.
Precisely. So let's try and wrap this up. Pull
Yeah.
together the main threads from this Rocket Phone report.
Okay. Well, the big headline is definitely that huge amount of valuable information, potentially 70% just disappearing from business conversations.
Yeah, a massive loss.
And it stems largely from sales teams being swamped with admin, using tech that isn't always effective or integrated, and lacking easy ways to get insights from past customer interactions.
Right. And the consequences are pretty severe, significant financial losses. We saw that $127 million figure for
Huh.
stressed employees and really widespread customer dissatisfaction. That 92% figure is hard to forget.
Definitely. But it's not all doom and gloom. The report clearly points towards AI as a major part of the solution.
Yes, it presents AI as this powerful tool set to finally capture, analyze, and actually use the rich data hidden in all those conversations.
Potentially transforming things, making businesses more efficient, making staff happier, and crucially, giving customers a much better experience.
Absolutely. Which leads us to a final thought for everyone listening. Think about it. What if you or the businesses you interact with could genuinely understand and act on every customer interaction?
No more lost information.
Right. How could that change things? Not just in sales, but maybe in product development, service, everything. What are those hidden voices in conversations right now, holding insights we're just not hearing?
That's a powerful question to ponder. What value is currently locked away, just waiting to be understood?